Hello friends, welcome to our channel Knowledge Amplifier. So today in this particular video, I am going to discuss some fundamental concepts about networking domain in cloud computing. Okay, and this particular concept is surely going to help you to work in cloud domain in a better way. So let us try to understand the concepts with one particular problem statement scenario. Okay, so your company hosts its public facing website in a local data center. Okay, fine. Soham, who is basically CTO or Chief Technology Officer of your company, wants to migrate the website to the EC2 or Elastic Compute Cloud service in AWS. Okay, and Soham asks you to develop a basic working proof of concept or POC to show how company could host the website in AWS in EC2. Okay, so to do this particular POC, you need some fundamental concept of networking related to cloud, and that's what I am going to cover in this particular video. Okay, so let's try to understand all the different concepts step by step. So first of all, we are having our AWS cloud. Okay, multiple companies are working here, and now suppose you want to work in AWS cloud, you will be basically getting a secured private cloud. Okay, which is called VPC or virtual private cloud, a very important concept. So Amazon VPC is a service that lets you launch AWS resources in a logically isolated virtual network that you define. Okay, so basically that particular virtual network is isolated from rest of the world. Outside that VPC, whatever is there, that will not impact your AWS resources, whatever you are launching in that particular private cloud. Okay, so this is, you can think like a private cloud in AWS. AWS overall multiple companies are using. With respect to that point of view, if you see, it is kind of public and less secured, but VPC is something which will give you a private space where you can launch your required AWS resources, and that will be basically logically isolated with respect to outside world. So we have seen, right, that this is our AWS platform, and now suppose I am launching a VPC, so it will appear like this way. Okay, that is, VPC is nothing but a logically isolated part inside our AWS cloud. Okay, and inside this VPC, I can launch different AWS services. Now, this particular VPC you can launch in a particular region. Okay, so VPC basically spans across the entire region, right? That is another very important concept. VPC cannot be like cross region or something. For one particular VPC, you can launch in one particular region, and in that region there can be multiple availability zone. So VPC can be basically span across multiple availability zone which all are present under same region. Okay, right? I hope you are getting this. And now this particular VPC will be having a particular IP range which your required softwares or host can use. So that particular IP range, you will be having suppose X amount of distinct IP addresses that you can split across small groups, and those small groups where you have distributed your bigger IP range into different small range, those are called subnets. Okay, another very important concept. So as you can see here, that one particular VPC basically span across entire region, and in that particular region there can be multiple AZ. So VPC can span across multiple AZ. That's what is shown here. Here two availability zone or AZs are there under the same VPC, right? And as I have told you that while working with VPC for hosting different softwares or websites, whatever you say, you will be getting a range of IP address. Okay, now that range of IP address you can basically logically split and assign to small groups. Those are called subnets. A subnet is a range of IP addresses in your VPC, right? You might be creating 2 or 3 subnets, and the whole IP range, whatever your VPC can use, that you can split in between those subnets. Okay, that way you can utilize, right? So you can think like this way, that is, here in AWS we are having our VPC. One VPC is span across one particular region. In that region there can be multiple availability zone which are shown using these AZ boxes, right? and under one availability zone, you can create one subnet. Okay. So subnet cannot be spanning across multiple AZ. Okay, that's what is written here. Even though a VPC spans across entire region, every subnet can be associated with only one AZ or availability zone. Subnet cannot be in multiple AZ. Okay. And what we are doing in subnet, basically this particular VPC, which is the bigger block, the parent block, have a particular lengthy IP range which it can access for hosting something. That big range we are splitting and we are giving to different groups. Those are nothing but subnet. For the time being, you can think like that way. Okay. And also remember one thing, VPC basically spans across entire region, but one subnet will be associated with only one availability zone. It cannot be across multiple availability zone. Okay. And inside these subnets, you can basically launch your AWS services. Okay. So inside VPC, inside subnet, you can launch your different AWS services. Okay. That's what is written here. You can launch AWS resources into specific subnets. Okay. So suppose what I can do, I am having two subnets in this particular diagram. If required, I can launch two different EC2s here. Okay. And these EC2s, maybe we want to host our website. So for that purpose, we can use these EC2s. Okay. So I hope up to this particular place, the picture is completely clear to you. And now the concept comes, might be sometime this particular EC2, this server need to communicate with this particular EC2 server where both are in same VPC but in different subnet. They might need to communicate in between each other. That kind of scenario also might arise, right? So for that, what we need to do? Let's try to understand. Okay. So if you recall our computer communication course, which we have already studied in our BTech, there routing concept was there, right? That is basically router is nothing but a networking tool which basically can route the traffic in a particular direction whenever required. So suppose this particular EC2 under the same network, which is overall a VPC, if it want to communicate with another server which is present in same network, then what we can use? We can basically use route table. Okay. A route table contains a set of rules which is called routes that are used to determine where network traffic from your VPC is directed. Okay. So router nothing but directs the traffic, network traffic into different region as per the routing table. In routing table, we basically mention that if some request comes in this particular direction, directed in this direction. Like that, we can create our routing table. Okay. And that way, what we can do, suppose we need to communicate in between this particular EC2 and this EC2, which are under same VPC, we can create simply a route table. Okay. And using that route table, if required, these EC2s, or might be there are more than two subnets, there can be more servers. Okay. All are coming under same network, right? Same VPC. So locally they can communicate in between each other using this particular route table. Okay. Now this complete thing till now, whatever I have discussed, it is in private cloud, right? So outside world, suppose you need to communicate with, like in our case, we have to host a public facing website, right? So that time via internet we need access, but this whole stuff is currently at private cloud. It is not yet public, right? So to make it public, what we can do? We can use internet gateway. Okay. So an internet gateway enables your instance to connect with the internet. Okay. So we might be creating one internet gateway, and we can say if some EC2 instance or our server is trying to reach internet, then pass that to internet gateway from the route table, and that internet gateway will take the responsibility to connect with the internet. Okay. So this is the overall picture. Now we will see the implementation step by step. Then we will be getting better idea. Okay. So I will switch to Notepad. So what is this step 1? Let us try to understand. So what we will do? We will create a VPC, virtual private cloud, and we will be giving this particular name, virtual private cloud. And as I have told you, whenever you are launching a private cloud, you need to mention what is the IP range, what your different hosts in that particular private cloud can use, right? So for this particular virtual private cloud, I can mention the IPv4 range as 10.0.0/16. What it means, as you know, that there are 4 octets in our IP. So each have basically 8 bits, right? Total there are 4 octets. So total 32 bits are there. And when I am saying /16, that means first 2 octets we cannot use, right? Only the last 2 octets we can change. So our IP range will vary from 10.0.0.1 till 10.0.255.254. Okay. So as you can see here, so first one is 10.0.0.1, then 10.0.0.2, like that it will be going 10.0.0.255. Okay, then after the 10.0.1.0, like that for this particular value as 1, it will be going till 255. Like that, all possible combination it will be allowing. Okay, so this is our host address range, and in simple words you can easily understand. When I am giving /16, that means first 2 places we cannot change. So first 2 place is always intact. The next 2 octets we can change. So octet maximum value can go to 255, right? So minimum we can start from 0 and we can go maximum till 255. Same like here. Okay. But 10.0.255.255, the last one will be used for broadcasting. So we are ignoring that. And the first one basically 10.0.0.0 is basically network IP. So our host can use from 0.1 till 255.254, right? So that is clear. So what we will do, we will go to our AWS and we will be searching here VPC. Okay. And then here I will go to your VPCs. By default in AWS one VPC is created. We don't want to use this one to launch our EC2 and to test whether it is able to connect with internet or not. Rather, what we will do, we will create a VPC. Okay. So here VPC only, name I will be giving that one whatever I have written in Notepad, and this particular IPv4 range I will be taking. Okay. So here I will be pasting that. Okay. Whatever is there in Notepad, right? And then keep rest all other properties as default only. And then here all I will do, I will create the VPC. Okay. So as a first step, if you check our this particular PPT, inside AWS cloud, we have created a virtual private cloud. Okay. So this particular virtual private cloud, as you can see, we have launched in a particular region, which is basically in this case, it is Ohio region, right? So VPC can be spanned across the region, as I have told you. Now that particular VPC basically having the IP range from 10.0.0.1 till 10.0.255.254, right? Now this bigger range, what we can do, we can split into multiple subnets. Okay, so that's what this step 2 is. We can create a subnet and we can basically give this particular IP range. Okay, so when I am saying 10.0.1.0/24, 24 means what? 24 means first 24 bits, right? First 24 bits we cannot use, right, from the left hand side. So as you can see here, this particular octet, this octet and this octet we cannot use, but this particular octet, which is the last octet, we can change. So for this particular subnet, the IP range whatever we will be assigning from this bigger IP range is 10.0.1.1 to 10.0.1.254, right? Because to 1.255 again it is used for broadcasting, right? So what I will do, I will create a subnet with this particular IP range. So I will now go to subnets, and then here by default these 3 subnets are available, but I will create a new subnet. First I have to choose the VPC for which we are creating the subnet. Okay, subnet is coming under one VPC, right? So virtual private cloud, this is the VPC what we created, and then here I will be giving my subnet YT. Okay, availability zone. So as I have told you, subnets can be launched in a particular availability zone. So maybe I want to launch in this particular availability zone, and IP range we have to put this one I am putting. Okay, and then here what I will do, I will create the subnet. Okay, so I want to show you the demo with one particular subnet only because this is our first discussion. And then what is happening here? Here one route table is there, which is used for communication in between different VPCs, right? So if we see here, if we go to route tables, we will see that already by default one route table is created for our virtual private cloud. So our VPC name is virtual private cloud, right? This is the route table automatically created. And if we go to this particular route table, here you will see that destination is this particular one, that is any host which is basically having this kind of IP range, then they can communicate in between each other with this particular routing table, because target is local, right? So any host, whatever you are launching under this particular VPC, because they will be having this particular IP range by default, they can communicate in between each other, right? That's what we are saying, target as local. So local communication inside the VPC is perfectly possible, right? Now routing table is there. So all we will do, we will go to EC2 and we will try to launch an EC2 instance. Okay, so we will go to EC2, and now what I will do, I will try to launch an instance, and I will take Linux machine, right? And I will keep this T2 micro because it is free trial eligible, and here network. Okay, so I want to use that particular network VPC, whatever we created. In that VPC we want to launch under the subnet, whatever subnet we created, my subnet YT. Okay, and auto assign public IP. So we need a public IP to connect via SSH, right? So we will enable this particular one, and then we will go to next. Storage, keep it as it is. I will go to next, configure security group. So for the time being we are keeping this one, so that from anywhere using putty we can connect, that is anywhere we can use this particular SSH connection with port 22, right? And then here I will launch this instance. Okay, so I have already downloaded one key pair, so I can use that particular one only to launch this EC2. And all I will do, I will go back to my EC2 console. Okay, so it is in pending state. Soon it will be in running state. That time we can use this particular EC2 and enter in that using putty. Okay, so what we have done basically, as per this particular diagram, we have created one VPC, and under that VPC we have created a subnet, and in that subnet we have launched one EC2 instance, and we have seen that route table is also there, which is basically helpful for communication in between different instance under the same VPC. Okay, that is local communication is possible using that. Okay, so it is in running state. I will go to that, and then here I will be taking the public IP address, and then here all I will do, I will go to putty. Okay, I will paste this particular IP address, I will go to SSH, and I will try to take that particular EC2 key pair, whatever I have configured. Okay, so this one is done, and then here I will open this particular one. Okay, and let's see whether this custom VPC subnet we are able to enter this EC2 or not. Okay, so let the prompt come, but no, we have got network error, connection timeout. Why this is happening? Let us try to understand. Okay, so the reason is, here we are trying to connect using SSH via internet, right? We are outsider. We are trying to enter in this VPC, but this is not possible. In the route table, no such configuration is done. We are trying to connect with internet. That time what I have told you, we have to create an internet gateway for this VPC, which can be used to communicate with internet, that is outside world, and this VPC, right? So we have to create that. I will go back to my VPC, and then here you see internet gateways are there. Okay, so all I will do, I will create an internet gateway. So here my internet gateway YT demo. Okay, I can give that, and I can create the internet gateway. Okay, so it is created, perfect. Okay, but see, it is showing detached. Okay, we have to attach with our VPC so that our VPC can use that. Okay, so I will go to action and attach to VPC. So I will choose our virtual private cloud, whatever we created, and I will attach the internet gateway. Okay, now we have attached the internet gateway with our VPC. Now let's see whether we are able to enter in that or not. So I will choose this particular public IP again. I will paste that. I will go to SSH authentication. I will browse the file, and then I will click open. Okay, no, still it is showing network error, connection time. Why it is happening? The reason is, although we have configured internet gateway, but we have not configured the route table, right? That if the connection is coming from internet, then pass it to internet gateway so that it can take the responsibility for connection, right? That one we need to configure in the route table. So for that I will go to route table, and this is basically our route table what we created, right, which is having only local, and then here we will be editing routes, we will be adding rule. So internet connection is anywhere, IPv4 is basically this particular one, and that one we want to pass to the internet gateway, that is basically my IGW YT demo, whatever we created, okay, and then we can save the changes. So now what will happen, if in our VPC some anywhere IPv4 connection, that is this particular IP is trying to connect, then it will be forwarded to IGW. Using IGW we can connect, okay. So here I'll be taking this IPv4 again, and then here I will be opening putty, okay. I will paste this particular one, I will go to authentication, I'll browse the file, I'll open this particular one, and then see we have to click on yes, and by default for Linux machine the user ID is EC2 user. If we do that, here we able to enter in EC2 console beautifully, right? If you want, you can ping google.com to check whether you can basically access internet or not, and if you check, see here we are able to access the internet. So in this particular video we have understood what is VPC, what is subnet, what is route table, what is internet gateway, how to create a VPC, how to create subnet under that particular VPC, and how to launch different AWS services under that particular subnet, how to configure route table so that if any connection comes with internet, it will be forwarding that to internet gateway, whatever we created, right? All these things we have observed in this particular video. Just try to do this hands-on one time so that you will be very much comfortable with this particular concept, because this particular concept is very important wherever you are going or whatever application you are building in your AWS cloud. This networking is very important concept, right? And in my upcoming videos, I'll be discussing some more concepts in detail related to networking so that you will be very much comfortable with this particular concept, okay? And at the end, don't forget to terminate your EC2 instance, otherwise it might raise unnecessary cost, right? So I will basically terminate this particular EC2 instance, okay? So this is all for this particular video. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share and comment. Subscribe our channel if you have not subscribed till now, and don't forget to press the bell icon to get the notification of our latest videos. Thank you.